No, there's that. I think it's quite a good move potentially. He has had some serious injuries, which is a slight concern. But if he's motivated, and as Tom says, the passion his brother showed, if he's anything like that, then I think he's worth a go.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a promising one. I think it's a promising move, and a good replacement for some of the leadership that's maybe been lost as well potentially. If he can fill those sorts of shoes, which I think he's capable of, and if he follows from his brother's lead, he'll be a success. Hull Kingston Rovers have also confirmed the signing of Leeds forward Muzzy Mustafa on a season-long loan. The England Academy International joins the club for the season after signing a new 2-year contract with Leeds. I always find that confusing when you sign a player to a new deal then loan him out. Wigan have done that a few times recently, and it doesn't feel like they're ever going to come back. But Mustafa probably will. Tom Andrews got in touch on this as well. He said, looks a good prospect, but signing a new deal for Leeds on the same day, I just feel we are doing King Kev's youth development for him.
Well, yeah, and I think part of this is driven by things like dual reg.
Yeah.
Now dual reg won't exist next year. Then, because he's someone you'd probably send to play big minutes in the Championship. But if, the next best thing is probably someone send him where he's going to get some time and develop in a professional environment and get him out of the environment he's comfortable in, then it's probably not a bad idea. And there is that Leeds connection with Danny Maguire on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and it is an impressive talent. I've seen him playing in the academy at Leeds a few times over the last 2 or 3 years, and he's always stood out as a player you need to watch. Bit of a rough diamond, I think, a little bit, but and I'm not sure about how many minutes he can play. There's things to polish up on him, is what I'm saying, but he's definitely a talent, and I think can do a job in Super League. Just probably isn't a top end of Super League player yet, so that's why Leeds have taken this opportunity to give him some match experience. He is a bit of I think Phil Joseph's a player that springs to mind in terms of build and the kind of recklessness that he throws his body into stuff with. That's a recent player that springs to mind as a similarity for Muzzy Mustafa.
Well, let's hope so, because I loved Phil Joseph. He was one of those players I had a lot of warmth for. So if he's anything like that, then he should be on to a winner.
Yep.
St Helens have confirmed the signing of Sione Mitautia, or Matti Utai, or however which way you want to pronounce it this week. The Australia international joins the club on a 2-year deal with the option of a third after leaving the Newcastle Knights. Matti Utai is the Australians' youngest ever player after debuting aged 18 and can play in the centres or back row. He's only 24 still, and he's played 124 NRL games, scoring 31 tries.
I feel like he's the perfect replacement for Dom Peru and Junior Joseph Paulo. Yeah. I think he fits the bill that they've left behind great, and I think he'll be a good bench player for them, or starting right second row potentially.
Yeah, I think he's someone who can come on and inject a bit, and having that versatility of playing in the centre or back row is going to help them, because that's where they have possibly lost out a bit recently. Now they've decided that Lou McCarthy-Scarsbrook isn't your put anywhere in case of emergency man.
Staying with Saints, prop Kyle Amor has signed a new 1-year contract with the club, so that'll help him keep the blonde rinse going. The Cumbrian has extended his time with the Super League champions, who he's played 182 times for since joining from Wakefield. 31-year-old was off contract and had attracted interest from elsewhere, so I think he's done well to stay at St Helens rather than the other way around, though.
I definitely think so. I think you could see certainly mid-season he was quite way down the pecking order and looked like he was drifting out the door by accident.
He was shown the door at the start of last season and refused to go through it, and I think he's earned his last 2 1-year deals, but
former Huddersfield winner Achille Uarte has called time on his 13-year playing career. The 33-year-old made 212 appearances for Newcastle Knights, Manly Sea Eagles and Huddersfield, scoring 130 for tries. Ugarte earned 18 caps for his native Fiji, as well as representing Australia and New South Wales 5 times apiece. So the party is over.
The Ugarte party has ended, yep. But a really good career for him until the ill-fated spell with Huddersfield that didn't really get off the ground. But back in his Knights days when he was getting international recognition, he was a real threat on the wing.
And even at Manly, he was putting out there and doing some good business.
Yeah, definitely. Castleford Tigers back row Ollie Holmes has extended his contract through to the end of the 2021 season. The 28-year-old came through the ranks at the Super League club, and he made his senior debut all the way back in 2010. Why hadn't he had a test? Has he had a testimonial?
No. Only a 1-year deal, which is interesting to what you think about that one.
I don't know. I think 1-year deals don't shock me at the moment, just because of the economics of the situation. I think a lot of players might want to prove how good and valuable they are on a 1-year deal to then earn a longer deal, potentially when the clubs have a more long-term understanding of their financial security or otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think no one's going to be turning down a 1-year deal in Super League at the moment. And he's a player who can prove his worth to that squad again in time, I think, as well. So good luck to him with that. There's a few other Super League stories to throw in. So I feel like I've gone back 3 years, but former Hull FC captain and England international Gareth Ellis has retired from Rugby League at the age of 39. Ellis led Hull FC to victory in the 2016 Cup final and repeated the feat when the club retained the trophy 12 months later. Ellis, who also had spells at Wakefield, Leeds and NRL side West Tigers, returned to the field last year after first retiring in 2017. The forward played 17 times for Great Britain and 16 times for England. One of the best of the last 20 years?
Definitely. He's going to be. He deserves to be talked up, I think, more than he is, because I just think he's a fantastic competitor, and undoubtedly just someone if you had to pick a side to save your life, then you just want him in there, because no one's going to work harder and really bring it about. And he's someone who's gone through lots of several different incarnations of himself, where he was a lot more sprightly and had a slightly different role when he was a younger player. But now
he made the dream team as a centre, I think, back in his Wakefield days, before being consistently the best second rower in the country and arguably the world.
And to absolutely rip it up and be named, Player of the Year in Australia for his club. Was it 3 years in a row?
3 years. He was there for 4 years. He played 3 full seasons and then got injured, didn't he, in his 4th season? And he was Player of the Year in all of those 3 full seasons. Yeah,
I mean, it's fantastic. It takes a lot for Australians to warm to a British player that goes down there, and he definitely got himself a fan club down there. So, yeah, he's someone who I'm always going to be disposed to a hard-working second row, but he's someone who I really rate really highly, and I think he deserves to be talked up more than he is.
I almost feel like I did a lot of talking about his greatness 3 years ago when he retired the first time. It's hard for it. Like it's not hard for me to talk about his greatness now, but almost it was a shame this year seeing him come on for 5-10 minute spells. It just didn't feel right in a way. But good luck to him in his retirement eventually, and hopefully this time it sticks, because I think he's earned it. Wakefield have submitted a planning application to develop parts of their Bellevue home, including construction of a new 2,500-seater East Stand. Trinity, who purchased the freehold of the site in March 2019, also planned to install a 4G playing service. Floodlights will be upgraded, and the existing terracing in the North Stand will be renovated. The new car park and dedicated fan zone behind the redeveloped East Stand are also included in the plans. The current stand structure dates back to 1924, with Bellevue's current capacity around 7,000. Have you seen any of the imagery for this? It looks absolutely spot on for what is needed.
Yeah, it does. It seems very sensible. and I really hope they pull it. I think it's going to be a bit like the standard redevelopment at KR, that it just fits in and is in keeping with the rest of the ground, and I think it will actually add to it and evolve it rather than. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all still waiting for the Rodney Walker Megadome, but until that happens, this will have to do.
I just think it looks right, and then if they can do something on the other side that puts some sort of more modern terracing that you can actually see over the dugouts from, we're then talking about a stadium that's fit for Super League.
And a 4G pitch is really going to help them. I mean, you see how it's done for Widnes in terms of not only being able to have that revenue for and the more community use and that habit forming of coming to the stadium, being able to train on that 4G surface, and the amount of, because I think Wakefield are always someone who get disproportionately affected when it's cold, wet, miserable, because the surface doesn't drain as well. So I think having that 4G will do them a world of good.
Yeah, all good plans, and I hope they succeed in that. Warrington Wolves trio Ben Curry, Jason Clark and Matt Davies has signed new deals with the Super League club. Second rower Curry, who's 26, has agreed a contract until November 2023. Loose forward Davies, who's 24, will remain at the Wire until November 2022, having signed a 2-year deal. And Australian forward Clark, who's 31, has signed a 1-year contract with the Wolves. Locking down big talent in Ben Curry and keeping some good leadership around it in Jason Clark, and Matt Davies has earned his Super League spot.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's great to see someone from the Midlands do so well. So I really hope that he carries on and developing, because he's really come on in the last 2 years. So I hope he carries on developing at the rate he has done.
Yeah, definitely. That's it for the late delivered stories for you, Tim. Shall we go back to the normal round?
Super League have confirmed that the 2021 World Cup Challenge will take place later in the year than usual. The meeting of Super League and National Rugby League champions is usually played in late February or early March. Options are being considered to play it later in the year, with the Super League season set to start later than the usual due to the extended 2020 season. Let's be honest, this isn't going to happen, is it?
I think it's positive that they're even talking about it being played later in the year. That's all I can say. It made me excited that it might happen. There's a chance of it happening, because I'd already assumed it was not going to happen.
Yeah, I doubt it somehow, because I think by the time we could play it, it'll be into sort of the origin period, and that's never going to happen. So, or you're going to be playing against a third string team. And I think with the World Cup going on as well, it's just going to get too complicated. So I would be very surprised if this does happen.
Yeah. Into the Championship, Widnes Chief Executive Phil Finney has confirmed that the club will not be making a bid to become Super League's 12th club for 2021. Finney appeared on BBC Radio Merseyside on Thursday night as part of their Try Time show, where he confirmed the Championship club will not be making a bid to return to the top flight in 2021. A club statement read, Phil confirmed that the timing isn't right for the Vikings to make a return to the top flight as the club look to continue their rebuild as a new business. The club, in its new ownership, is yet to have a full season under its belt due to administration and the cancellation of the 2020 season due to coronavirus. Phil emphasised that the club want to return to the top flight the right way by becoming sustainable rather than jeopardising the future of Widnes Vikings by making the step up before we are ready. And Dr. Hideous got in touch on a related theme that fit best into this part of the rundown, so I'm going to read out what he said. He said, I don't want my Broncos to go into Super League next season without a full distribution of funds and without as much time to prepare as a team would have under normal circumstances. The league will be grotesquely stacked against anyone going up this year. Better to wait, win the championship and get promoted under the normal rules. For both those two clubs, Widnes, I think it's sensible. I don't think they would have been successful in a bid because of that administration and the business structure that they're working through anyway, but sensible on their part and the way they've addressed it. And for what Dave Cantrell says about London, I agree too. I don't think London should be pushing for Super League this year because I don't think they'd be strong enough to stay in the competition after that one season. So yeah, I agree there with both.
Yeah, I think from a purely selfish view, it'd be very nice to go on the bus to a Super League game, but I don't think it's right for London at the moment. I think they need to build in the Championship. So